Hiya! I'm just popping in quickly because there's been lots of new members over the last week or so. And some of the people who have joined this group have joined because they've realised that something is a little bit different. And the questions that have come up when people have messaged me have asked particularly about their periods. What has happened? Are their periods going completely awry? Is something wrong? What is it? Is it the perimenopause? So the perimenopause is the stage that leads up to the menopause. And I don't know if you know, but the menopause is the day, the time, the hour when you haven't had a period for 12 months. The time leading up to that could be a fairly short amount of time, 2 or 3 years, or it could be a longer time, 7, 10, even 12 years. It depends on each person how long that phase is. How do you know you're in that phase? Well, often from feeling that life was ticking along quite normally and your periods coming along quite regularly every month, you start to notice that either your periods get much heavier, or you miss one, or they get much lighter then much heavier, or that you're starting to notice that you've become quite anxious about things and you don't like travelling or flying or driving on the motorway, or perhaps you've noticed that you're starting to wake up or get a bit panicky and hot and flustered over certain things, or you may not notice anything, but it was the periods in particular that I just wanted to touch on here. So if up until fairly recently you've had a fairly normal period cycle, that's because your ovaries, which produce 1 egg a month, are firing on all cylinders, let's call it that. But as your ovaries age, in the same way as every other cell in your body ages, they stop producing the same amount of estrogen as they used to. Now, estrogen affects, it's got over 300 functions throughout your body. So when your estrogen levels go down, it's not just the things that you know or you've heard about the menopause, hot flushes. It affects all sorts of things. And your estrogen's levels, contrary to popular opinion, they don't just go down and down and down and down. We often see these little memes that show estrogen declining in a woman from 30 to sort of 35, 40, going down and down, down. It doesn't actually work like that. It's more of a splutter. You know when you get an airlock in your taps and you turn the tap on and the water goes gushing out and then it stops and then you get this splutter? Well, it's a little bit like that. We get months where our estrogen levels are quasi-normal, if you like, and then months where they're a bit low. And that's why you notice some of these signs or symptoms come on and then disappear and come on and disappear. And it is at that point that you might think, okay, what am I going to do about this? And there are various things that you can do about it. Things that you can change with your lifestyle, things that you can change with the way that you eat, certainly things that you can change with your exercise habits. Sorry, I've got a cockapoo down here that's pouring for attention. Or you can choose to boost those estrogen levels by taking HRT. Now, I don't prescribe HRT. I'm on HRT. I don't prescribe HRT, but I work with people who do. And if you are 45 and over and you go and speak to your GP or your healthcare provider about these symptoms, what they will do is say, okay, that's great. If you want HRT, we're very happy to prescribe it to you, or they're supposed to. If you are 45 or below, they're likely to say, well, let's check those levels. Because if you're 45 and below, what happens if your estrogen levels are low is it can affect other areas of your body, so your bones, your heart, and they want to know how low they are so that they can possibly keep an eye on your estrogen levels over a period of time. But don't expect, if you're over 45, to go to a doctor and for them to say, right, let's do blood tests and then we'll start you on this, that or the other. On the NHS, that isn't going to happen. And there is a reason for that. If you're showing signs of having estrogen levels that are going down, then those blood tests that are taken are only right on that day, because the next day they might start climbing back up again. On another day, they might be back to virtually normal. So blood tests don't really tell us anything, whereas symptoms tell us of a trend. The general trend is that my periods are changing and I'm noticing differences. So to anybody who's new here, I hope that's been a useful little snippet of information. There's loads and loads of information here in this Facebook group. There's loads of information here in this brain. And where possible, I'm always happy to give generalised answers to these questions to help send you off on the right track or arm you with the information that you need to ask more questions. As you know, I offer a one-to-one consultation. You're more than welcome to have a look about that. But for now, I just wanted to clear up that why are my periods changing? Is it normal question? And then I'll be back with more helpful tips and hints as the weeks go by. Thanks everybody. Bye.